it was fun. I mean, it was it was tough. I mean, but it was fun. That was my, that was where
that was her childhood.
That was my childhood in that restaurant.
Working
every weekend.
Were you running the cash register then?
Yeah, I did cash register. I did cleaning. I did sue stuff.
How old were you when you started?
I think 10 years old. I know it's ridiculous now. I mean,
have Penny do that. Have Penny do that.
Oh,
Penny.
I tell Penny every day. You have got
I don't believe it.
idea.
Penny is our daughter, by the way.
Our 10-year-old daughter. Have no freaking clue what I used to do and what I'm asking you to do to make me a cup of tea. And you have that attitude. You must be.
No, our daughter is a good kid. It's just that there's those little things as for every parent, but like
because you progressed,
Yeah, Wendy was working hard at age 9. She was like the hostess and helping her dad with marketing and along with some of her cousins too.
It's real family business. It was a real family business, and then that we grew up with that.
Man, so we could have made a sitcom of you guys and call it like instead of Bob's Burgers.
Or Kim's Convenience would be Putin's Pizza.
Yeah, Putin Pizza. Yeah,
Putin Pizza.
We could make a whole sitcom about it. I bet you could have.
Yeah.
If we were writers,
you would
and just listen to the dialogue.
Oh my
we
God,
would just had all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, where's Arnold? Is Arnold on the feed, man?
He's on the.
Exactly. We could write a good story here for Hollywood. It would be the Kim's Convenience with the Filipino version, like starting it up in the UK. I mean, that's right.
That's right.
Not just Filipino, but Igorot.
Straight up.
Yeah. We'd have all these like Igorot conundrums in there too,
and
like
that nobody would understand.
Yeah, exactly. But you'd have to get really.
We'll have a whole episode based on like someone bringing a bolol in there. Like, why are you putting that? Why are you creating a rice granny right there?
But yeah, from the stories I hear from all her cousins and stuff, man, Wendy used to like work. I mean, for a 9-year-old, like she did a lot of work.
I work, man.
And what about when did you guys? Am I jumping if I talk about the janitorial business?
Yeah, so no, we used to clean as well. So we had the restaurant and it wasn't doing so well because it was tanking. The economy was tanking. So we had to make ends meet.
This is Thatcher's time, huh?
We ended up doing cleaning jobs. We had cleaning jobs at night. So we did this restaurant during the day. And then after we shut shop, we used to go and clean offices on the way home. So we would be out there for another 3 hours cleaning, It was hard, but I mean, I remember it was fun. I mean, when I was a kid, I was just following my dad around and just doing what he said and just, having to make sure that he didn't get mad at stuff. So just did stuff real quick to make him not get mad and get stressed. It's quite.
How come our kids don't do that?
I know. I just remember always like figuring out how to like. When we used to go clean, for example.
How not to make your dad mad?
How to not make him mad, because when you get pissed, it'd be so like, he would never, my dad would never, I mean, that's one thing, he never because we were girls, I suppose, he never hit us, he never raised his hand to us, but he would be really, really stressed. And his stress and his aggression would always be like, he'd just have this temper, not at the kids, not at us, but at my, parents. They would fight a lot. You could just tell he was really, really, as a young kid, I could tell that they were both very, very stressed out. So I had to figure out a way to try and make them not be so stressed out by just doing stuff that would help.
Very advanced of you.
Yeah, perfect.
I was just concerned with my next PlayStation game.
Yeah, I think Wendy had to grow up a little fast, And
I remember having to clean as well too. We had to do that here as well.
Yeah,
that was
when we just migrated.
Okay.
So your dad hustled. He really hustled. Now, can you speak a little bit about that? Because sometimes, you know how like us Filipinos, we have this crab mentality thing, and so we look at people and say who hustle and who kind of like make their way in life, and sometimes we have that. Our people have that jealousy streak going on. Like they look at that and it's like, look at those people. They're acting like this. Who do they think they are? Kind of nonsense, right? But we know that your dad hustled, and he always tried to figure out what do you think that comes from?
The hustling is hard work, isn't it? That's the value of hard work, and that's the value of. For Igorots particularly, we live within our means. We don't try and live outside of what what we have. I think his hustling was really the product of him and my mum. You know, both of them were hustling. So my mum was also doing 2 jobs as well. So she was helping in the rest 3 jobs. She helped in the restaurant. She had her day job in the hospital. And then she also had her side job, which was the care home, which she had developed. So
apparently that was illegal back then.
Yeah, I mean, back then you could have
you couldn't moonlight.
Jobs. You could moonlight legitimately.
You could moonlight?
You could, because I mean there was no regulation in terms of.
Oh, it was only later that.
It was only when the care homes got regulated.
Oh, okay.
That's when they said, you know, they couldn't. You couldn't be having multiple jobs at that point. But that came very, very late. I mean, my parents started the care home in the 80s. Same with the restaurant; they started in the 80s. Little regulation at the time, so they could do. They were very lucky actually to be able to do all the things that they did, and figure out which ones worked. But both of them hustling is both of their hard work, and that is a value that Igorots, particularly wherever they go, you can see it in all Igorot families wherever we go.
I'd say in particular, especially for that generation, I think there was no options but to hustle, and I think in that generation that was the mentality, and that I would say grit. I would say that grit,
resilience
helped them move into different areas, like all over the world, and in their case in the UK, and to deal with all the hardship and the racism, and just to kind of like.
They had no option to.
There was no options. You got to put the blinders on.
Yeah, you just ignore. You just have to ignore.
And they didn't dwell on their stuff like like life should be like this.
They're so racist. I can't do anything. No, they just carry. You know, in spite of all of that, they just carried on. They persevered, and they just ignored. As hurtful as it could have been. I mean, I can't even imagine for me, for us, having to deal with all of that, just on the new frontier, somewhere new, just dealing with all of that social stuff. But no, they just, especially
for her dad, like her dad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like after passing the bar in the Philippines, that's a
huge thing.
That's a huge like accomplishment, and in some ways, that accomplishment, you know, it's supposed to bring you up in terms of like. I guess you can say social mobility.
Their status and that.
But like like accomplishment to be able to move further than where you were before, right, in the Philippines. But then
it's clearly competency too. I mean,
it's very
do that. That's there's a clear competency in that.
Right. And to come here and then to kind of like be told that no, none of you, the stuff that you learn means zilch, you know. That's that.
Yeah, he struggled with that, my dad, I think, and that's where his frustration was, and that's where a lot of his hurt was. But he didn't he couldn't let it be an option to not let him do work. He had to just find an avenue in, and he never stopped at where he was at. He always looked at the next level, the next I suppose. He just kept moving up.